Hello and welcome back to my channel. I have been thinking about recreating one of my past illustrations, and as you can see from these old pieces, my style has changed significantly in the last 10 years, and I'd love to see how much I have evolved as an artist over time. This painting right here is the one I have decided to recreate. This was originally painted using watercolor, and while I still think it's beautiful, I know for a fact that my style is quite different. So from here I need to do some research, and I am taking to Pinterest to find some inspiration photos. I no longer have the original reference photo, but I don't think it's too hard to find some similar images. I searched for Amsterdam houses and I'm immediately finding some really cute ones. I love how this one has this like statue of bird like built into it. I think that's fun, that's interesting. This blue house here is really perfect because it has the plants on the outside like the original drawing does. The way this window comes out is cute. It also has the tiling on the roof that I like. I love the color of this one as well, but I am going to try and stick with the orange of the original illustration, since I do want to make this a variation of like a draw this in your style challenge. I think all of these buildings give off the same feeling the original illustration does, and I now have a much better idea of where I want to go with the finished piece. With that being said, it's time to get sketching. I prefer to make my sketches traditionally because I feel more connected using pencil and paper. I tend to lose the hand-drawn quality to my sketches when I work digitally. That's why I typically only use it for painting, and that's it. Okay, so I finally have a more complete idea of what I'm thinking. This is just like my super sketchy sketchbook. And it's a really rough sketch, but I think I'm ready to finally kind of flesh this out more and see where it goes, because I like the idea I have. It just needs to be refined quite a bit more, but I like where I'm going. So let's go over to the other sketchbook. What I'm thinking with this is I kind of wanted to make it like a draw this in your style, but with my own past piece. So I have this one, and while I like it, I wanted to do something a little more whimsical. So I decided I think I'm gonna go with like a birdhouse kind of look, and then have, I don't know, a bird, something kind of like that, just on the outside here, maybe over here, kind of taking this design and like kind of squashing it, simplifying it, and making it a birdhouse, because why not? So now I'm going to make a bigger version of this, sketch a bigger version of this onto the rest of this paper here, and I'll figure out where to place my bird. Okay, so I finally feel like I have gotten my sketch to a place that somewhat matches the original, but it's definitely in my own style, my own take on this piece. So now I think I'm just gonna paint it digitally. I'm gonna paint it in Procreate. So I'm gonna take a picture of my sketch and then I can start painting. I set up my file as a 15 by 15 inch square, and for some reason I decided to do 350 dpi rather than keeping it simple at like 300 or 400. I like being able to quickly erase mistakes when drawing digitally, something I wouldn't be able to do so easily if I was painting this traditionally. Both mediums surely have their own pros and cons, which is why it's nice to do part of the drawing one way, in this case sketching with pencil and paper, and the other part another way, like painting with full colors over on the iPad. Typically when I draw digitally, I like to start by blocking in all of the big shapes with flat color before I get into any details. This way I'm able to more easily focus on how the colors and shapes are working together as a whole. I try to work this way when I paint traditionally as well, but it is a bit harder to do that since you have to mix all the colors at once. Again, pros and cons. Speaking of colors, I typically would do some colored thumbnails or color comps before I dive into a piece. That way I have a better idea of what I'm doing before I get to the fun stuff. However, I did not do any color comps for this because I liked the colors I had in the original illustration, so I didn't feel like I needed to really take that step since it was already done for me. But as I was blocking in colors, I was struggling. I either had too many contrasting colors, this was too dark, that was too light. I have now learned my lesson though, and I won't be making this mistake again. I've been wanting to recreate an old drawing for a long time because my style has evolved so much over the years. When I first started drawing in I want to say 2010, I was mostly doing portraits. I would typically work with graphite or colored pencils, and I'm pretty sure that one of my first, if not the first drawing I did is of a woman who was on the cover of 17 magazine at the time. I do still have that drawing somewhere. I'll have to go look for it. I would like to one day go through all of my sketchbooks and finish drawings and photograph them. I'd love to make a walkthrough video of all of my sketchbooks, like sketchbooks throughout the years or something like that. I think that would be a long video to film, but I definitely think it would be worth it. I know I have accumulated a whole lot of work that needs to be archived because I'm only going to continue to make more art, and I may as well have a nice digital portfolio of all of the old pieces, right? I'd like to think I'm becoming much more efficient when I draw and paint digitally. Besides struggling a bit with the colors, I have been able to make my process more streamlined over time. This little painting here took a few hours from start to finish, but a year ago I probably would have been struggling and taken 3 or 4 days just reworking it. I have found that creating a new layer for each base color, then a separate layer for details, along with some clipping masks here and there, it allows for the process to run smoothly, and I don't find myself getting frustrated like I used to. For whatever reason, I have always had a tougher time grasping digital than I ever did traditional art. Just like when I first started drawing though, I have to do it more often in order to see the improvement that I'm striving for. Practice makes progress really is the truest statement I have ever heard. Also, while painting this, I had Miley Cyrus's Plastic Hearts album on. I had no idea I was missing out on such a great album. I missed out for a whole 3 years. How tragic. This is usually my favorite part of painting and drawing, no matter the medium. I just love adding in all the details that really just bring any piece to life and tie everything together. Also, when I'm in doubt of what to add, like in this grassy area for example, I like to use a textured brush and make a gradient, then add some textured marks like dashes or dots, and I find that helps liven up any part that I am struggling with. I'm always striving to be a better artist. That's why I think practicing and finding a process that works for you is so important. because once you have that process down, you can experiment more with things like textures or the weight of your lines. So because I got my sketch figured out early on, I was able to treat the painting sort of like a coloring book, just drawing and filling in shapes as I go. I like the way my style has evolved over time. I'm still a huge fan of more realistic art, but I think there is something to be said about this playful, more imaginative style, because it's definitely been the direction that I gravitate towards. That's something else I love about art and illustration in particular, is that it's so broad and tons of artists could see my original illustration and put their own spin on it, one of them going the route of completely realistic and another going to wildly abstract and simplified. I do think this could be a fun recurring video on my channel, like recreating my old illustrations in my current style. Please let me know if you'd want to see this turn into a series, because I had so much fun making this drawing. I think my take on the original is fun and something I would love to do again. As always, I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Please like and subscribe to see more art content from me. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!